Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Now remember, no matter if you're right or wrong, being nice can get you what you want a lot faster. In our first story, if Karen had been nice and polite, OP would have just said, "Sorry, I'm not actually working here. I'm a customer too. One of the guys will be with you in a minute, probably." But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. The one with the mistaken identity. About 2 or 3 months ago, I stopped in a Shell gas station for gas and to change a couple of light bulbs for the company van. Since I'd finished from my delivery route and I wasn't pressed with time, I decided to check the air, oil levels, etc. I start with filling the van with petroleum, my original intent, and later move the van on the side so that we don't block a pump for no reason. One of the employees from the gas station came to assist me with changing the bulbs. A few minutes later, the second employee came to check if he could help. The guys were amazing in helping. In the meantime, more customers arrived at the station, so the guys go to assist them, and between assisting me too, suddenly it got really busy. As I don't want to waste any time, I wear my gloves and I start checking what the employees have not checked yet. Water levels, oil levels, etc. As I'm checking the water level for the wash on my windshield wipers, I felt the change in the air. I felt the pressure change and a faint scream could be heard escaping the buzzing city noises. I thought nothing of that and I kept focusing on my van. Then it happened. A light huffing and puffing, the sound of the impatient shoe hitting the floor. The sounds of the busy city went silent for a second and then I heard it. Wild Karen. "Yeah, excuse me." I slowly turned to check to the place from where the question voiced. I turned slowly thinking, is she calling me? It can't be. But curiosity has me now, so I have to know. I see a lady next to her car, I guess, approaching me. Wild Karen, €20 gas. Me, visibly confused and location Shell. I look behind me, there's nobody to be seen except me. I point to myself. Wild Karen, "Yes, I'm talking to you. It'll take 2 minutes from your time. Then you can go back to whatever you do." Me, "Miss, I don't know how to pump gas." Wild Karen, "They have you here only to check and change oil?" At this point, we need to set up the scene a bit better. The employees are wearing red t-shirts with yellow letters like the logo of the gas station. I'm still wearing my work uniform, which consists of a light green t-shirt with stamp with my company logo front and back. I've just realized what's happening, and I decided instead of getting angry with the Wild Karen that expects my reply before she howls and asks for my manager, I'm going to enjoy this. Let's be honest, it was a rare opportunity that a Wild Karen that gave me enough time to process the situation before she Karen'd. I had to enjoy it. Me. It just happened. Don't overthink it. Originally, I wanted to check the lights. Wild Karen, "Are you kidding me? Come now, put €20 of gas to my car. I'm busy. I have other stuff to do." Me. I stop what I'm doing and just stand next to the van that has the same name as the t-shirt that I'm wearing. I cross my hands and I get ready for the conversation. "I want to remind you that I have the same color and name on the t-shirt I'm wearing as the van." Me. "Thankfully, I'm finishing work in about 30 minutes so I can go home early today." Wild Karen, Good. Until you finish your shift, can you put gas in my car?" Me. "I don't think this is legal." I don't know if there are any regulations or not, but didn't really care. Wild Karen, "To put gas?" Me. "For me, yes." Wild Karen, "Are you kidding me?" Me. "I do not have a reason to joke with you, miss. I do not even know you." Wild Karen, "Are all the employees here useless like you?" Me. "Well, got 1 or 2 that are worse than me. But why you ask? Did you hear anything?" Wild Karen, "No, I can see you." At that point, one of the employees arrived as he probably heard her yelling. Employee, "Hi, how much gas you want?" Wild Karen, "At last, someone that knows what to do around here." Employee, in an even more confused state, "Is everything okay? Did something happen?" Wild Karen, "Yes, Mr. over here," pointing at me, "didn't want to service me and he tried to be cute with me." Me, not losing the opportunity, I interrupt, "I'm on the stationary market. I'm not cute with you." Wild Karen, "Are you playing me for a fool?" Employee: Miss, the gentleman here is a customer. At that point, I watch her getting ready for another round. She's getting a deep breath and she's ready to start again. Suddenly she stops, looks at the employee, then turns her gaze to me and then back to the employee, confused eyes, and she stops, probably realized what happened. The gas pump stops. Employee: Miss, it's €20. While Karen gives the €20, starts the car, and as she leaves the gas station, she looks at me with her eyes filled with anger and confusion. Me, I just kept on smiling and waving goodbye to the wild Karen. It's not often that you have time to enjoy an encounter with a wild Karen in the hectic life of a busy city. Employee: I thought that you were chatting. I didn't realize what happened. Me, neither did she. The lesson here: never underestimate the entertainment value of a wild Karen encounter at your local Shell station. And our second story. My dad told me to just walk home, so I did. A long time ago, in the faraway year of 1999, I was a young 11-year-old boy finishing my last year elementary school. Right before my birthday, which was in May, my parents called the family together for a meeting. They told us my mom had gotten a new job and we would need to move. We weren't moving too far away, only about an hour, but that still meant moving away from my friends and going to a completely different middle school than the one I thought I'd be going to. Elementary school wrapped up and we moved to our new house in early July. In August, my parents and I got to take a tour of the school and meet the principal and some of the teachers. That was when we learned that there weren't any buses that passed our new neighborhood. It was actually close to the school, so that meant I would be walking to and from there every day. My parents weren't too thrilled about this, but it was only a 15 to 20 minute walk and there was a path, so they came around on the idea pretty quickly. At the time, both of my parents worked full-time and 5 days a week. My mom worked Monday through Friday, and my dad worked Monday through Thursday and Saturday. Trust me, this is relevant. Since my older sister was away in college full-time and they didn't trust me and my brother alone, my parents found a babysitter to be there when my brother and I would get home and watch us until my parents got home. My brother was 2 years younger than me and in the local elementary school. The school year started, and in early September, we got a massive heat wave that reached highs of like 96 degrees for a couple days. The middle school was also an old building, and most of it was not air-conditioned. I only had 2 classes that had AC in the classroom throughout the day. At the end of those days, I was tired and not in any mood to walk an additional 20 minutes in the heat before getting home, so I used vending machine snack money to call the babysitter from the payphone. Cell phones were definitely not used by kids in those days. The babysitter, thinking he was just not letting me suffer in the heat, came to pick me up, and I would do some homework before Batman, Beyond, and Pokemon came on. I did try to call home 2 more times over the next 2 weeks when it was hot. The second time, I got the sitter again. The third time I called was on a Friday. My dad answered. He was not happy with me. He told me it wasn't that hot, 85 that day, that I shouldn't call the sitter away from the house and that I had to start growing up. He told me to walk home and we would talk more when I got there. So I walked home. I got a lecture and was told not to call the sitter again to be picked up. I said okay and told him I wouldn't call the sitter or him again to be picked up. 2 weeks later, at the end of September, a hurricane passed through the area. Halfway through the day at school, it really started coming down. It got so bad that they let us out of school a half hour early, like that was going to save us. By this time, though, a lot of roads were flooding and the line for payphones was long. I remembered what my dad told me a couple weeks ago, so I walked home. Took me almost 30 minutes to walk home from school that day, and I was drenched by the time I got home. The rain was coming down so hard I couldn't see more than 5 feet in front of me. The roads were so flooded that the only way to drive was in a car that had 4-wheel drive. When I got home, both my parents, Mom got out of work early due to the storm, were there panicking because they hadn't heard from either the school or me. I just walked in through our garage, soaking wet, and said, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I'm home." After they got over the initial shock and relief of seeing me home, my parents and I had this conversation. Mom, how'd you get home? Me, I walked. Mom, why? Me, Dad told me to. Mom, when? We didn't get any calls from you or the school today. Me, well, a couple weeks ago I called the sitter a few times and asked for a ride home since it was hot. The last time I called, I got Dad. He told me I just had to walk home from now on and not call for a ride again. Dad, I implied that there could be exceptions. Me, you didn't say that. My mom turned on my dad and just told me to dry myself off and put my wet clothes in the dryer. I was drying myself off and I could hear them arguing. It was louder than the rain. When I was done and put my clothes in the dryer, my parents talked to me and told me I was allowed to call home, but only for emergencies. The next day, Saturday, my dad took me out to Blockbuster and I was told I could rent up to 5 movies for myself. He also paid for pizza that night and I got a whole pepperoni pizza for myself. That pizza lasted 2 days and no one else was allowed to touch it. My dad never lived that down. Good times. And our last story. A battle against HOA mismanagement. My HOA had a property manager that stole $90K and then another $60K in insurance fraud. The property manager said we still owed him $15K and that's why he hadn't paid any of our bills for the last 4 months. He was also asking for another $2.5K special assessment. The board voted to keep him on. I had to overthrow the president, hire a new property manager, fix all the bill issues, use the current assessment to fix dangerous structure issues, and paint unpainted surfaces. All the while, one old member of the board stayed on to foil my efforts to sue the last property manager. The rest of the board were mad that I was right and more interested in saying I was wrong, even though they admitted that the previous property manager stole $150K than doing what was right. Basically, they made decisions not on facts. Lord knows we can't look at the bills to form our decisions, but on their emotions or what the old board member told them. In the end, I got the board on the right direction financially with a decent property manager. The board told me I was handling the lawyer we hired to sue wrongly. They took over, and then nothing ever happened. Finally, I had to walk away as all the work I did was for free, and I was working 2 jobs at the time. I consider the suit a sunken cost. Maybe one day I'll go after the insurance fraud as I'm doing well now, but I do not like the idea of suing myself. I don't do HOAs that have power to fix the outside of units. They're targets for corruption and always have people looking to steal or derive power from the HOA. Most people are small-minded and short-term thinkers, and you shouldn't combine your money with them. Also, it isn't just HOAs. If you put any people in positions where money's involved, it takes diligence to make sure the money doesn't walk away. CEOs and board members, local, state, and federal governments, nonprofit execs, etc. Unfortunately, corruption is in human nature. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.